This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Detroit is the greatest!
Straight up light you on fire for a Coney dog right now.
Darren McCarty comes back to Neiman in front of him. McCarty draws. McCarty in. McCarty scores! He makes go! Darren McCarty!
Stafford takes, throws, end zone, Calvin, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Motor City Sports Rant, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. I'm Vinny Stubbs. Sitting across from me is the king, Jason Jarvi. What did you think about that Super Bowl, Jason?
I kind of liked it. I know going into it, the heavy favorite was Carolina, and that was where the smart money was. But I still wanted Denver to win because I wanted Peyton Manning to win one and then retire. And obviously that's still up in the air. I still think he's gonna hang up the cleats, but just like another guy who also hung up the cleats in the fourth quarter. We'll talk about that a little later. But I enjoyed the game. It was nice to see Cam Newton get put on his ass.
Yep. I put $100 on Carolina.
Why?
Let me tell you. I thought it was obvious that Carolina was going to blow them out. And right from the get-go, you've seen flashes of Donovan McNabb and Cam Newton. I mean, the guy just choked, throwing the ball all over the place, missing wide receivers.
Well, now he has something in common with Donovan McNabb. He's lost the Super Bowl.
Yes, he has. And even when things went right and he threw a ball that was completed, it was challenged and ruled incomplete.
Now, what did you think about that?
It was complete. It was complete.
Some of the times when I looked at some of the replays, it did. I can see where the question was when the ball touched the ground. But it was a ticky-tack call.
That was ridiculous. It's almost like you have to take the ball and shove it up your rectum for it to be complete.
You know what I think was a bigger miscue, though, outside of that being called not a catch, was Ron Rivera challenging the sack on Peyton Manning.
That was ridiculous.
Because you're only like 5 minutes into the second quarter.
Both your challenges are gone.
You're gone. You already lost because if you would have gotten that first challenge, because you would have gotten a third. If you win both of them, you get a third challenge. Mm-hmm. And there was nothing else. There was a bunch of things when he could have thrown a challenge for. That would have been nice, but he couldn't.
How about the punt returner Norwood from Denver? The Carolina special teams thought that he called a fair catch, and he ran it like 65 yards. That was absolutely atrocious.
I didn't really understand what was happening. At first, I thought it was that they had actually touched him before he got the ball.
My God.
But yeah, and it didn't even look like he was really running that hard. Mm-mm. But I think it was a really good team win. Right. Actually, I take that back. It wasn't a team win.
Peyton Manning.
Denver's defense was the reason that they won the game.
Peyton Manning's arm is uglier than Lady Gaga. I mean, his arm, there's just nothing left.
I think Carolina's defense also kind of shut everybody down.
Right.
Demaryius Thomas was pretty much a non-factor. Emmanuel Sanders had an okay game. But everything else was covered. Mm-hmm. And I think when you see Cam Newton go down as much as he did, I think, Peyton Manning, he went down, but he didn't take those hits. He gave himself up whenever he was going to go down. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, where does this rank on in the Super Bowl? I mean, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did because I put $100 on it because I thought it was going to be a slaughter. So I put the $100 on there to make it interesting. And I watched every single play. It was more than interesting. I sat, there was actually the first games of my life, because every now and then when the Lions are playing, I'll get up, I'll shut it off, I'll give up, I'll go cook. I was on the couch the entire time and I watched the entire game, start to finish.
So $100, and what was it? Were you going for the points or what?
The 4.5. So Carolina had to win by 5. And I lost $115.
And you also had to get a 6-inch sub for the doc over here who's on his phone.
Did you like the mayonnaise on there, John?
Listen,
how'd the mayonnaise taste?
It only took 4.5 minutes before you gave me credit. I seem to recall listening, because I did listen back to all the shows last week on this fine podcast network, that I was the sole voice that was saying, listen, guys, defense. And all of a sudden I kept hearing, no, Carolina's playing great. They're going to dominate. And I'm like, I think give me the points. I think defense. I think it's going to be something also psychological with Peyton Manning retiring. They're going to play a lot better. And I got shot down by these hosts here. But It's okay. I'll take the sub. It was delicious.
Anybody who took Carolina, they can't really be blamed for that, though. You look at what they had done up to that point. The previous week against Cardinals, who had a pretty solid defense and a really good offense, they shut them down. The previous week against the Seahawks, against a really good defense. I mean,
That's why I took them. Those teams are all better than Denver.
or they had a better offense, but they had around the same defenses.
See, I think if the game, and I keep saying it, was just 1 week later, you give the advantage to Carolina. That extra week, Wade Phillips has been around such a long time. You would think that he was going to craft a game plan that was going to be effective. And the game plan was simple. Make Cam Newton beat you. Load the box. Man up. Make sure that Cam doesn't beat you on the ground. And he did just that. And the game plan was excellent. I think the people that got caught up in talking about Carolina were those that did buy into the hype that Cam Newton would actually show this in the biggest stage. There's a difference between the playoffs, title games, NFC title games, regular season, and the Super Bowl. There's a big difference. And so right away, when you saw that first drive, I knew. Cam was throwing the ball high. He was jittery. I knew. And I was like, I was good. So I knew it was going to be a close game, and it ended up being a defensive battle on both fronts.
That first drive.
I think he was really out of that game ever since that strip sack and fumble recovery for a touchdown. He was down 10-0 at that point, and the team isn't really built to come from behind. You know, when they played the Seahawks in the divisional round, they went up like 31-0, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they barely made it 31-24 because they let off the gas, but they had that gigantic lead. You know, they hadn't really. What was it? Was that I think I saw it was the first time this entire season that they had been down by. Or maybe they have been down by 10 twice.
Well,
but they won both
15-1.
of those games.
Denver had the capability of punching the Carolina team in the mouth, and then what happened? How did they respond? Every time that Carolina made a significant push to try to get some momentum, they'd either take a significant penalty, or they'd make a mistake, or there would be a key sack by Denver, and those turnovers killed them. So all credit has to go to Denver. I think this is a game where you see why number one defenses have won a lot of Super Bowls. This has made me want to, and I've talked about it on the podcast, I've said it before, I want the Lions to look like Denver. I don't want them looking like Carolina. I want my Lions team to look like Denver. Build on the defense. Build and support Ezekiel Ansah. Build and support Levy. Build and support Darius Slay. I want a new team.
Well, you're not going to get it.
Yeah, but Carolina also had a really good defense.
They did.
They had how many All-Pros and Pro Bowlers? They had.
It was amazing.
K'Wan Short, Star, Tululule, Charles Johnson, all up on the front line. They had Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly, Josh Norman.
And we're not even talking about Coney Ealy. He would have won the MVP had he with the game and performance he had. The defense did okay, but in the end,
I mean, it's hard to say that you want your team to rather be. Because I don't want to be Denver every year. Because that was a special defense that they were able to.
I want to build a special defense.
That they were.
That's what I want to build. That's what's going to win you. That will get you farther. Look what they've done. You tried to have Golden Tate and Megatron. You tried to have a young lad, a young cat in Amir Abdullah. That hasn't done you squat. Now, where did you have a success in 11 wins? When you had a Sue and a dominant defensive front. So I want that. So get back to that, and that'll make it's a preference thing.
So you want a defensive tackle in the first round?
I want to shift away from looking at wide receivers, and I want to look at building a defense that is going to rival the best defenses out there. If you get a top 5 defense, you can get 11, 12 wins consistently. And I think Bob Quinn knows it too. I really believe that's why he's been so hush-hush on Megatron. He knows it. He's going to build on defense. I have a feeling.
Can I give you a comparison real quick? Just to say, I wanted to save this a little bit until we really started talking about the Lions, but we can go into this right now. So, I mean, how close do you really think we are to Denver, the way Denver's defense is right now? Because I'll tell you the stats from 2015, what they were, into our 2014 defense that we had. So 2015, this year, Denver had the first rated defense. 2014, Detroit had the second rated defense. Basically a 17-yard difference in yards per game. Denver was first in passing. Detroit was 13th in passing. And then in rushing, Denver was third. Detroit was first in rushing, giving only up 69 yards per game. Mm-hmm. I mean, how close are they to that type of a defense, though? I mean, and could we, with the way that we run our defense, could we actually even be like Denver?
It would take 2 really good drafts. Really, really good drafts. And you have to hit rounds 1 through 4 both years. You need 2 defensive tackles. You might want to draft somebody in the secondary because the Hedabo cannot stay healthy. And you need a guy to play next to Levy because Tahir Whitehead and who's the other guy? I don't even know who the other guy is. I forgot who he is.
I'll look him up.
You'll look him up. You don't even know who he is. Do you know who he is?
Say that again.
We might need 2 linebackers to play. Oh, it's Stephen Tulloch, dude. He's out every.
He's going to be let go, probably.
He's going to get let go. So they need 2 linebackers, 2 defensive tackles, and a safety. They need to have 2 really solid drafts. And there you go.
So do you want to
Everything else is
actually
taken care of.
model it directly off of what Denver's doing, where they
Yeah, I
are,
think you have no
they are
choice.
going after the quarterback all the time?
Well, look, they just won a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning threw 9 touchdowns in the regular season.
They also run a different defense than us. I think they run more of a 3-4. They have the rush ends. They have Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, and then they have 2 really good middle linebackers in Danny Trevathan and Brandon Marshall. We have kind of the pieces, but we would need to get some rush ends, and we need to commit to that type of style of play where you're going after the quarterback all the time. And we'd have to really look at our secondary right now is better than it's ever been.
Right.
We may actually need to upgrade it even more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what Denver did this past offseason. They went and got Aqib Talib. So, I mean, they had...
he's a piece of trash.
He is, but he shuts down people.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to shut down Megatron when
Did
he
you see
played
him fall down on the ground? When he ran to the podium, he slipped, busted his ass.
I didn't.
You gotta watch
I was watching live. I've never laughed so hard in my
it.
life.
He literally ran like 20 yards to get on the podium and fell. It was hilarious. And Marshall Faulk's like,
He has a
dude,
weird looking face, too.
he's an ugly person.
That's your point, though. You do have a start with Ezekiel Ansah. He's a guy that you feel like with some more growth can get to the quarterback and create havoc in there. You don't think so, Vinny?
What?
Don't we think we should support Ezekiel Ansah?
Yeah, he's the best player on the defense.
For sure. I think with a couple additions, like you said, then you have a chance to definitely make some waves on that defense.
Is New England 3-4? Does anybody
I think
know?
they do because they used to have Vince Wilfork, and he was the big nose tackle.
They might switch over to a 3-4 after Collins.
They keep saying that. They're not doing that.
They'd have to change up their personnel.
I think that's coming.
I'd accept it because I'd love to see, maybe what's his name, the other BYU guy who's doing nothing right now.
Oh, Kyle Vinoy.
That's what he actually was. He was a rush linebacker,
That's Martin Mayhew.
and it actually could work out. You have Ziggy Ansah, you have Kyle Vinoy.
We don't have Kyle Vinoy.
Let's just say that he develops because that's all. If you just tell him, you put him on an end and tell him go after a quarterback, I think he could do that. I think where he starts his failings are when he has to drop back into coverage, when he has to cover actual run plays. I think if you just put him on a corner, tell him to go get the quarterback, I wouldn't be surprised if he had 10 sacks in season.
Who?
Calvin Oy.
Oh my God.
You always do that.
John, come on,
I
man.
talk and I'm like, I have this whole speech and you're like, who?
That's nonsense. John, you better help me out with this one. He just said Kyle Vinoy can get 10 sacks.
Listen, so they do say that linebackers take a little bit of time to develop. We haven't seen it yet. We need more from him. I don't know if he's got that in him because he's been healthy and he's been a scratch. So if Jim Caldwell doesn't think you can be on the field, I don't know.
Right.
That's in the current defense, though. That's what I'm saying, is that if we were to go to a 3-4, he would fit that better. Mm-hmm. Would you agree or no?
I don't know.
I would agree with that.
John agrees. I don't
agree.
I
think the guy's a total bust. I don't think you'll ever see the guy in the field. Not even special teams.
Then we would have to go out and find that kind of a guy. Then then we're talking going back on the defense. We have to get another D tackle.
But guys, look at how they performed I know the competition wasn't great, but we were able to get turnovers. We were able to get stops. The opposition couldn't run the ball. So the defense helped out, and the offense at the same time played up to potential. Now, I know the schedule was light, but the offense and defense played great. So This is what I want to see. I want to see a further advancement of the defense. And I was, like I said, I'm shocked that, with the number 2 ranked defense, they didn't really do a lot in the playoffs, but that's the direction they need to go in. And there's a model. Go in the direction of being a strong defensive team. And that's what I would say. Enough with this, surrounding Stafford with all this talent and all this stuff.
He's had enough time.
He's had enough time.
Weapons.
Let's
just not going to
Let's just neuter him even more. He's been, Jim Bob Cooter can design an offense that can get 5 yards of play, screen passes, not go too deep, because if you have to replace Calvin, it's not going to be that easy. So you're going to have to, develop a nice offensive system, which I think he's shown that he can do.
Right.
So I'd say that's my opinion. I would say if the Lions won the Super Bowl 9-6, I'd be thrilled. I wouldn't care.
I don't think that Calvin Johnson retiring is necessarily the worst thing that's really ever happened. I mean, Stafford went 4-1 when he missed 5 games last year. Not last year, 2 years ago. Damn, my life is flying by right before my own eyes. So Stafford, he'll have one good year, one bad year, one good year, one bad year. He's inconsistent. So look for him to have a bad year because he had a good year last year with a terrible offensive line.
Do you think Stafford would have dove?
No,
dove
no,
on the
I
ground
don't.
for
I
fumble?
do not. I think he would have did the same thing
I don't think
Why?
so.
because that's what he does.
You wouldn't know. You never seen him in that.
I've
in that
seen him in the
situation.
spotlight, man. That's what he does. He freezes up. When Aaron Rodgers would dive.
I feel like you're a hater, Vinny. That's not
You
true.
are a hater.
How am I a hater?
I think Stafford is competitive. He's a
I
guy
like
that,
Matt Stafford. I think he's the best thing you guys have ever had. You
See,
understand?
what Stafford would have done is he would have grabbed the ball and then let it pop out his arm.
And then
See?
he would have picked it up and fumbled it again.
So
And then Jarvi would be like, they're going to win 13 games after this loss. You watch. I'm like, dude, you just lost 35-0. It doesn't matter. Calvin Noy's going to have 10 sacks next year.
You think that's going to be a career defining play for Cam Newton? Gifts all over the internet. Everyone's like looking at it like, man, you didn't sell out for the Super Bowl after all that talk you did during the regular season.
Dude,
Your ass should have been on
there.
that ground. You should have been fighting, scrapping. You know, it's one game. If you have a concussion, you have the rest of the offseason to recover. He should have been on the ground.
I was waiting the entire game for him to turn it on. I'm like, where's this guy at? Turn it on. And he just did not turn it on. I'm like, okay, they're down by 9. The spread's 4.5. So if they just score 2 touchdowns, they win by 5. Can you do it? 9 minutes left. Got the ball. What do? Punt, fumble, pick in the red zone. I mean, overthrowing guys. Receivers are dropping balls. The whole game was a nightmare for Carolina. And that field goal kicker, what the hell's his name? Graham Gano?
Gano.
Oh, my goodness, he should be let go.
How do you feel? Because Cam Newton, he wasn't the most graceful in the loss. In his post game interview, he was really short. I think I recorded it, and his total answers was about 40 seconds.
Right.
And if you took out the one answer where he actually talked, it was about 11 seconds worth of just yeses, nos, no, not really. And then he walked off. There wasn't the last question for Cam. He got asked a question and he got up and left. I've been saying I don't like him, and I
don't know anybody that
just
does.
because I think he's a douche. I'm sorry.
Cam Newton.
I know he does a lot of good for the Carolina, and
Good for him.
But I don't like him.
I don't like him either.
And
And the guy almost put me and my family out on the street yesterday. Damn it. Cam Newton. Son of a
What do you
bitch.
think, John?
My
I
opinion.
mean, did you? Would you expect that from him? I get it a little bit. Yeah, you just lost the Super Bowl, but with all the fame, and the guy has been a douchebag and bragging about how he's so good,
And he dresses like Prince. And he to all the garbage he was talking, people aren't used to a quarterback like me.
all the other teams who was it? Was it the Cardinals when they just basically halted the game so they could take a team picture on the field? I mean, he does all that kind of crap, and then he can't talk on the podium.
Yeah, as a competitor, as someone that just lost the game, it's probably the most important game he's ever played in. And now also, too, there's additional information. The way the NFL set up the press conferences were they lined up the booths right next to each other. So he's sitting there, and there's a great video all over the internet about it. He's sitting there, and he's hearing the questions, and all of a sudden he hears Chris Harris from the Denver Broncos blasting the Panthers.
Intentionally.
Saying that, our game plan was simple, make Cam beat us, he can't throw and beat us, and he's hearing that blasting in his ear, and he's getting pissed, and he's getting, frustrated, and I actually expect that reaction from someone that cares that much about the game. I wouldn't want him to go up there and be all happy, but
No, he's a sore loser, though.
he's a sore loser. But that's how he's
Deal
supposed to
with
be.
it. Answer the questions.
You know what the example is, though, and I do agree. They juxtaposed that with how Russell Wilson answered the question about the interception last year. And he stood up there and he said gracefully, "It was my fault. It's on me." He answered all the questions. I get it. You're a professional athlete. You're supposed to be paid to handle that situation. But straight after the Super Bowl, I would give him a pass. I would say the not diving for the football is a bigger egregious violation than the whole press conference. Athletes don't want to be there. They try to do their best. They don't want to answer these questions. And I thought the questions were stupid anyway. They should have asked the question about the fumble. They should have asked better questions. They were just trying to massage him and things like that. And he was just like, you know what, peace, I'm out. And he just left. And I
didn't
don't
even
care.
get that, though. He just left.
He just up and left. I'm done with this. But though, could you put yourself in that situation? Put yourself in Cam's shoes. You're hearing the guy basically like in the next booth over trashing you after you lost to them. After you really felt like, you know what, if Carolina really played halfway decent, the score was 24-10. It wasn't like they got dominated.
They got dominated.
No, they did not get dominated. The offense was horrific for Carolina, but if they put forth any kind of effort, if they let Cam do his thing, they had a much better chance. But Denver's offense didn't do squat either. I feel like he knows it was a blown chance, and he was pissed.
Phase it out, though. I mean, go up there, don't answer. You do whatever Marshawn Lynch did. Just, I don't know. I thought it was it shed a poor light on him. If
you knowing that he was going to probably act like that, I would have just never sent him out there. Just take the fine, whatever it would be. If that's how you were going to be, the best course of action would have been not to go up there. But he did what he did, and I
don't know.
Shame on him. Do you think it's going to be something that is going to scar his legacy, or something that's going to be sticking with him for a long time?
It will be with him until he wins a championship.
He'll never win one.
I mean, that's the hard truth. I mean, until he gets back to the Super Bowl,
he won't.
Until he gets back to the Super Bowl, or if he ever does, it's going to be with him.
Right?
You think so too? But you don't think he's going to ever get back to the Super Bowl, Vinny?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I think he'll get back right next year.
Really?
That's a young nucleus.
So why don't you think he's going to get back to the Super Bowl ever?
Well, you got the division for one. I mean, you got to deal with New Orleans. You got to play Atlanta twice, and Tampa Bay's on the rise. Maybe they're not on the rise. They just fired Lovie Smith, but it's really hard to get to that. It's really hard to get to the Super Bowl, especially in that division. It flip-flops every year, and then you got to deal with Seattle and Arizona. And Dallas is going to come back strong with Tony Romo.
I mean, you could look at it.
And the Giants. Anything
can really happen in the NFL. The Saints, Drew Brees he's going to be another year older, and I think that team is it's looking for a change. Unless Matt Ryan can turn around Atlanta, he could at least, I could see them getting to the wild card by next year. And yeah, I do agree. Tampa Bay, I think they broomed out Lovie Smith and they brought in their offensive coordinator to be the next coach to hopefully bring him to the next step. I wouldn't be surprised if they at least make the wild card if they don't win the division again next year.
We shall see. But damn it, Cam Newton.
What was the best commercial you saw? Do you like the commercials in the halftime show? The whole side stuff besides the game.
I don't know. I tried. It was way better than last year. Last year was depressing. Everybody was dying. And kids were getting hit by buses.
But I died.
Yeah. This year was a little bit better.
Do you have a favorite
all
commercial?
The foreign car commercials. No, not necessarily. I didn't really care. I thought the halftime show looked like a crazy ass commercial. It was insane.
I mean, it wasn't essential. It was Coldplay, but he was completely upstaged.
That was insane.
Well, I was
offended by that.
I was driving home from the party I went to because I had the kids there. So how was the halftime? I heard it wasn't really reviewed that greatly.
A lot of people will say that they were trying to make statements.
Oh, they were.
Partially, but
okay.
But Coldplay, they played like one song, and then Bruno Mars came out and did his song, then Beyonce, and then they all joined together. They kind of did a montage of different halftime performances.
That was cool. That was the best part of the halftime show. Bruno Mars is all right. It's the other two.
But what do you say, though? The halftime show is supposed to kind of appeal to the masses. And so with that said, it's not really more for like...
It appealed to the masses in San Francisco.
You think so?
Yeah, just put it that way. We won't say anymore.
Okay, I think I got what you're saying.
Okay.
A certain demographic would like that performance.
Absolutely.
The tight pants wearing kind of demographic.
Well, and I have nothing wrong with them. I think they're neat.
Okay. I got what you're saying.
Okay.
But I didn't check it out. No, I got home right in the second half, kicked off. It was perfect. Perfect timing.
Right.
Well, I have it on tape, though.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
In terms of commercials, I love the... I thought the Kevin Hart one was pretty funny. Being a dad, I thought that was hilarious.
I did like that one. I like the Dorito one with the baby.
That was pretty good.
Funny.
But in terms of overall value, though, I didn't think any of those commercials were worth $4 or $5 million for the spots. I didn't think so at all.
I do have a question. Why do you need to advertise avocados?
Yeah, I didn't get that. Why that was put in there.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we talked a lot about Cam Newton and all his attitude. We should talk a little bit about the other quarterback on the other side, Peyton Manning.
Right.
Didn't really have a good game, but he finally got his second Super Bowl. Oh, I mean, what do you think? Should he hang him up? I know.
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of funny in his post game. He was like, I gotta make a decision, but I want to set some priorities, and I'm gonna drink a lot of Budweiser tonight.
That's when I said, okay, fine, I'll pay the $115. He deserved to win it.
You're happy just for that.
Yeah, because I was pissed off the entire time. I was like, I hate Peyton Manning. I hope he breaks his damn vertebrae. Oh, my God, HGH. And then he said that, and I almost just teared up.
He said it twice.
Instantly, yeah.
He said it on the field, and then they were...
Which doesn't make any sense because they said there were ad companies that said that was worth about $3 million in advertising, and he wasn't getting paid to say that.
Because he doesn't care. He's done.
He just was like, I'm drinking Budweiser.
Absolutely. Why would you not drink Budweiser?
Isn't Budweiser not even the... I thought Coors was the official
It
beer
is.
of the
See?
NFL.
Exactly.
He doesn't care. He's done. He's hanging him up.
And what happened to I'm going to Disneyland or I'm going to Disney World?
Who do you? I mean, it should have gone to Von Miller, but
Yeah.
do you think they would have let Peyton Manning do it?
What's that?
Because I remember back in the day when the Ravens won their first Super Bowl and Ray Lewis was the MVP, but they had Trent Dilfer do the "I'm going to Disneyland."
Oh God.
We'll see if it has come out yet, but do you guys think Peyton should walk away? Do you think he might entertain offers from the Rams? His dad came out and said he's done with the Broncos, but not going to say if he's going to retire or not. There's still that small window of, hey, man, just play 1 or 2 more years and be the guy that, is the face of a franchise trying to kick off the ground in L.A.
Dude, he's got to be smart. He's got to hang it up.
He's got
It
to,
makes
yeah.
absolute no sense. He went out on top. It's just like John Elway.
Go on top. Yep.
You became the winningest QB in history. You just beat Brett Favre by winning a Super Bowl, and you really didn't have to do much. You just basically had to not fail in the game like Cam Newton.
It's storybook. It cannot be written any better. 39 years old, walk away. He's going to take some great jobs. He's going to probably land in a front office somewhere, and he probably could own a team soon. I mean, he's set up like that. He's a guy that's
I wouldn't
well
be
respected.
surprised if he was the GM of Indianapolis.
Yeah, see, there you go.
They love him there.
That's a good point.
If he does come back, let's say he comes back for the Rams.
He's going to get
And-
killed. He won't make it through a year.
Let's just say the Rams go like 3-13. Would that hurt his legacy at all?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I personally don't see him being Hollywood. I mean, with all the entertainment options you have in California, would you pay to see Peyton Manning at 39, 40 years
not
old?
at all. And you don't need Peyton Manning on the Rams to go 3-13. They're going to do that on their own. So they have nothing to worry about.
Maybe he should go to New York, play with his brother for a little while.
Oh,
That'd be kind of funny.
Be his
His brother
backup.
looked like he was like angry and jealous that he was winning the Super Bowl. His face was just
That's why I love
disgusting.
Twitter. There were so many funny memes. They were hilarious. The best one though
He is missing a
was the
chromosome.
one where they had Peyton Manning with the fishing, and he had the Lombardi Trophy, and he had Cam Newton on the ground going, when he reacted to that non-call. Those are some great memes on Twitter.
I like the one where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go home and drink some Budweiser, and then I'm gonna get my car insurance checked by Geico, and gonna have a Papa John's pizza.
Yeah, that
and,
was funny. I seen that one. That was the funniest one.
So all in all, out of scale 1 to 10, how would you guys rate the Super Bowl? Start to finish. I give it a 6.
I give it a 7.
I'd give it either a 7 or 8 because
Wow. Okay.
I would have liked to see more offense, but it was a great defensive battle. Watching Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, the entire Broncos team just swarm.
Did you see Luke Kuechly light up Demaryius Thomas in the first quarter?
I did. I thought he was dead.
God, I thought he died. Luke Kuechly's the best linebacker in the league. I mean, it is what it is. He's the greatest.
And how much should any blame be put on the Carolina defense?
Not at all. No, they did their job. Cam Newton didn't do a damn thing.
Dude,
And when he
yeah,
got in the red zone, he would throw an interception or overthrow.
The Broncos had 194 yards total, only 11 first downs. I think they only completed 1 third down. They did great. I mean, they limited Peyton Manning to basically nothing. He had a quarterback rating of what, 12, 13? It was the numbers on the offense for both teams were staggering in terms of their ineffectiveness.
I've never seen a quarterback just literally hand a Super Bowl trophy. They literally just handed it.
Yeah.
But would you? Should they have expected more? Because that's what Denver got. They were hounding Cam all game. They got a defensive touchdown. They got the turnovers when they needed them. That's what we've been seeing from Carolina. Luke Kuechly had a pick 6 in the past 2 games. I had expected. I think I said it on the podcast. I said that the Carolina defense would have 2 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I gotta when your offense isn't doing it, you gotta hope that the defense kind of picks you up and does something for you. Maybe they get a turnover deep in the zone.
They intercepted Peyton Manning, Ely.
The moment was too
He
big.
fumbled the ball twice. And they
The
still didn't
moment
do
was
anything
too big for Carolina, and that's what you have when you have.
No, it was
there
too
were
big for
not
Cam Newton.
a lot of players. No, the whole team.
No, Cam Newton sucks.
There were a lot of situations where Carolina was making some plays and they'd take a stupid penalty or they'd make a stupid mistake on special teams. The moment was too big, and it was a situation where it was a perfect combination of Denver having the right, perfect defensive, the perfect defensive plan and the motivation to get Peyton Manning out as a winner. That was the key, and that was the wrap. That's why they won. That's why Carolina didn't put forth a great effort. They were overwhelmed, and now going forward, they'll learn from this, and hopefully, if for them, they'll treat this like Denver did a couple years ago when they got spanked by Seattle. Period. They just learn from it, come back, retool, kind of improve in a couple of different areas, I think Cam Newton will learn from his mistakes. He'll be a gracious winner when he wins the Super Bowl. Might do some dabbing on the field, but off the field, if they win, he'll be more gracious.
Peyton Manning should have dabbed one time.
That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see him dab or do the Superman or do something.
I would have done it.
He's too classy to even retire in style right there on the field. He's like, I don't want to take away from Von Miller or my team.
Or Marshawn Lynch.
So he's too classy. He's a prototypical class guy. That's the way it is.
Hopefully next year, Kyle Van Noy gets 10+ sacks, and the Lions go to the Super Bowl.
That'd be nice.
Yes, it would be.
And we'll talk a little Lions when we come back. We won't get too into the Lions off season. There we got a lot of weeks until draft and free agency, so we'll get into some fluff Lion talk, and then we'll talk some Pistons, and we have our other great segments as well.
Motor City Sports Rant, DetroitSportsPodcast.com.
Doc here for FanaticU.com, Detroit Sports official outfitter and the official outfitter of the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. Everyone out there that's listening, go visit FanaticU.com. They have a wide selection of great gear. If you're a fan of the Pistons, Tigers, Lions, Red Wings, Michigan and Michigan State, go browse the great selection at FanaticU.com. And when you're done shopping, at checkout, use the promo code DSP. That's DSP. And when you're done, you'll save 15% off your entire order, even items that are already on sale. Go visit FanaticU.com, use that promo code DSP, and you'll save 15%. Don't pay full price. Go check out our friends, FanaticU.com, Detroit Sports official outfitter. And now back to the boys, Jarvi and Stubbs, on the Motor City Sports Rant, Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Were you trying to get crazy with this, eh? Don't you know I'm loco?
Motor City Sports Rant, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. This is my theme song last night after the Panthers lost. Son of a bitches. Macroon, if you ever call us the boys again, I'm going to pull the cord out and walk the hell out. Okay.
I like this jam, Jason. Good stuff.
Jason the King, Jarvi. You want to talk about the Pistons or the Lions right now?
Oh, let's continue with the Lions since we're talking NFL.
Since we're talking boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all they are.
So what do you got?
Calvin Johnson. We talked a little bit about last week about him, the news coming out that he was likely going to retire. So let's talk about if he does retire. You know, they just came out with the Hall of Fame ballots. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago that they came out with who was getting in the Hall of Fame this
Saturday,
year?
because they do that. Don't they do the NFL honors?
Brett Favre. He was
yep, Saturday.
You know, Kenny Stabler, Tony Dungy. One guy left off as a first time ballot guy was Terrell Owens.
What?
Yeah, he was left off. Calvin Johnson. Do you think he's a first time ballot that he gets into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, because he was really hyped up the entire time.
I mean, when you look at the numbers, he doesn't have the numbers.
Right.
You know, Terrell Owens, he's actually pretty much second in everything compared to Jerry Rice. Just because, and that's a lot of that's because he played longer. You know, Calvin only played 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
But Calvin, he does have the most receiving yards in a season.
Mm-hmm.
I think he probably will lead yards per game. But you know, what did he really do?
He was smart and retired early. I know that. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he will be a Hall of Famer eventually.
Does he deserve to be there?
Yeah,
first
of course.
ballot.
Just playing for the Lions for 8 years, anybody deserves to be a first just a Hall of Famer in general.
So Stafford's going to be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah. My God.
The numbers he could. The numbers.
Well, he was hurt for
up,
2 years.
The numbers he could put up without any successes could be staggering.
Yeah, just the 2000 season. Can someone just shoot me in the head?
You know,
I drank a lot of beer this weekend. My mind is completely rattled. Just for the 2012 season, breaking the record, you should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Amen.
I think he definitely makes it in. I'm not sure if he gets in on that first try though. I mean, he might do it. I think Terrell Owens, he's definitely he's more of a brash character. I think he butted heads with the NFL more than Calvin Johnson did. I mean, Calvin Johnson didn't really butt heads with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
does the lack of success, only getting to the playoffs twice, not really having those great games in the playoffs, does that really, do you think the voters will look at that? Or is it more numbers driven, do you think, with these? Because wide receivers are having a hard time getting in on the first ballot.
That makes it looks better for Calvin. Like, oh, but he did all this and they lost this many games?
I think
so it just looks better for him.
it might hurt him on that first time that he's going for the Hall of Fame, but eventually he'll make it. I mean, it might be his second or third year, and it might even be longer than that. But he'll definitely be a Hall of Famer.
So will Terrell Owens.
Oh, if he's, there's no reason to leave him out of there.
I just hate him, so I don't really care if he gets in or not.
Even after what he did for your
What did he
Eagles?
do? He destroyed the franchise.
How?
Well, they were 15-0 and they lost their first game, and they were 13. They were 13-0. They were losing their first game to Pittsburgh. It was Terrell Owens' first year, and he's on the sideline badgering McNabb and screaming at him. Like, dude, I've been here way longer than you. You're from San Francisco. Shut the hell up, dude. You don't win anything. Jeff Garcia was your quarterback. And he's sitting there screaming at McNabb. That really pissed me off.
Didn't he actually get hurt in that season that they went to the Super Bowl?
McNabb?
No,
Terrell Owens was out until the Super Bowl. He didn't even play in the playoffs that
Right.
year. Yeah. Terrell Owens was a cancer to that franchise. And when I was a huge Eagles fan, and they brought him in, and I seen the way he was acting, that's when I became a Lions fan. And I've been cursed ever since, and I cannot get out of this deep, disgusting, depressing cesspool. It's so just, oh my God.
Is it time for you to be a fan of a different team?
I'm going to go
Would you
back to
ever
the Eagles.
consider?
I'm going to go back to Philadelphia. The Lions, they just don't get it. It's Mickey Mouse. They just don't understand how to win. They don't care. The fans are so dumb. They're dumber than OSU fans. You guys sit in a dome. You get fooled every year. Ticket prices just went up. You're not talking about it. I mean, shame on you guys. You guys fill it up 65,000 every Sunday, and you lose 10 games a year. I mean, when are you guys going to snap out of it and go, "Whoa, maybe the owner's terrible. We need to, dude, they need to listen. Ford Field is just taking all your money.
Is there another team that you would root for?
Philadelphia.
Besides Philadelphia?
No, not a
Would you
chance.
ever root for the Steelers?
Absolutely not.
Would that be go against what your family does?
Yeah, it's Ohio.
That's
not
Ohio.
Pennsylvania. It's right next to Ohio. That's like this. You might as well be a Browns fan. Listen, I just want the Lions to get it together, and I know you don't. You like eating shit sandwiches, and I think you think they taste good because they lose every year, and you're still sticking up for them, and you're looking at all the positive things when there really isn't any. The only thing that's positive is Bob Quinn coming in, and then the guy's been spaded, and he can't do anything because he has to keep the same personnel intact. What the hell is he supposed to do? You can't switch the scheme around. You can't do anything that you want to do because you have to keep these guys in place because Martha Ford likes them. So you're going to go 7-9 again with an easy-ass schedule with no you're not going to be on national TV at all this year except for maybe Thanksgiving, which I don't know how you still have it.
Well, Ford, that's why.
Exactly. And you're going to go 7-9 again. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. Hopefully Bob Quinn and the guys that he has in place draft better than Mayhew, which I don't know how you could do any worse. And you go from there. I don't know. But I don't think if Jim Caldwell, if they go 8-8, if they don't go to the playoffs this year, is Jim Caldwell fired? You think he should be fired?
No doubt.
I don't think he's going to get into the playoffs this year. They should have already looked into this and just fired his ass. I mean, get your guy in there. I know Bob Quinn is scratching right now his flesh off of his body, freaking out because he wanted someone else in there. And don't be fooled because he did. He had his own guys in mind, but he's not going to pass up. This is an opportunity.
Here's where I would get worried is if we have a similar type of season where we struggle in the beginning and then we get it together at the end of the season. That's where I would really. I mean, if they do finish 7-9, 8-8, they miss the playoffs. The Jim Caldwell should be gone. But and I'll say it though, like it was this past year. If they look good at the end of the season,
they'll keep him.
Unfortunately,
you're just hurting your quarterback, man. He's the best quarterback you guys ever had, and you're killing him.
Listen, Vinny,
you're going to waste his career.
I know you're a little bit down on the Lions, but
I'm not down on the Lions. I want them to do the right thing.
No,
it's kind of obvious what you should do.
Yeah, I think that you want to give Bob Quinn one draft, see what he produces, because the rookies can have some impact on this team. And with a free agent class with a bunch of money, I think we just need to relax a little bit on the expectations with the Lions and really think that let's let Bob Quinn do his thing, and then we can judge. I really believe a little bit of continuity can lead to success. I'm almost leaning towards them making the playoffs, but seeing success in the playoffs, I'm never going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl right away, right now. I think that's crazy for people thinking like that and talking like that. But I could see them making the playoffs and maybe getting a win. Hey, why not set your goals there and see what happens?
Get a playoff win.
Well, here's the scenario. What if they go 9-7 and they just miss getting in the playoffs?
It's fired.
Fired.
Gotta fire him. They don't have a choice.
They have to get to the postseason.
Even though then he's...
And the reason why, you know why I say that? Is because look what John Elway just did. He got rid of John Fox, who was in the postseason, and he got his own boy. fix the defense up, win the Super Bowl.
Do you know why he hired Gary Kubiak? I didn't even think about this.
They played
with each other. I didn't even. Wow, that sounded terrible. They played next to each other.
Yes.
He was the backup for Denver.
Yeah.
And he was offensive.
He was behind John Elway.
Yes, he was. Then why would you not be?
But and I'm not saying that they should bring him back if he does go 9-7 and misses the playoffs. But I'm just saying that's likely what we're gonna see.
They'll re-sign him. Wait a minute. Is he under contract after this season? Or no?
He's got a 4-year deal, I believe. So, but you don't want to go into a lame duck situation, so they could maybe do something with that.
They're gonna wreck Stafford's career, man. Whatever. I just care. I'm looking out for you.
Well, you talking about Stafford. That kind of brings me into my next point. Deion Sanders came on NFL Network talking about how pretty much Matthew Stafford and another NFC North quarterback, Jay Cutler, are pretty much the same guy, and they just do the same thing. And I see similarities between the guys. Mm-hmm. Both of them have big arms. Both of them kind of don't live up to their potential. But I think the difference is the heart that they play, that they actually have out there on the field.
Agreed.
Where Matt Stafford, he goes out there, and I mean, I know you said that Stafford wouldn't have dove on that ball. I really think he would, because I think he would give pretty much anything for the team. And in post game, he never dogs anybody. It's all about him and what he can do better. Jay Cutler, he doesn't do any of that.
Jay Cutler's a terrible human being. He just flat out is. In
an NFC Championship game, there's you guys remember that?
Well, he went out.
Yeah, he got hurt, and it looked like he was fine to come back, but he said no thanks.
He didn't even care.
I think forgot about that. That was the beginning of the Jay Cutler smoking meme, I think.
Yeah, that was
and what's weird is Jay Cutler's relationship with Brandon Marshall. His boy, supposedly from Denver. They go to Chicago. They have their rift. Then they repair their problem. Then Brandon Marshall goes away. And then he said that Brandon Marshall's come out and said that they haven't spoken now again in 2 years. So, and I believe that Matthew Stafford is widely known in the locker room as a good guy, and he's got close relationships. So I do believe the comparison is equal in terms of the lack of success. But
lack of success, and
I'd rather have Stafford than Cutler.
I do think that they're a similar type of player, though.
Yes, they are.
They
gunslingers.
A lot of their stats that they do have are their mirrors. They're smoke and mirrors, because they get a lot of fourth quarter yards because they're down and they're trying to get back.
I think you pretty much touched on it. I think Matt Stafford is all, and Jay Cutler.
Should Stafford be disrespected by talk like that? I mean, it's a guy that's thrown for a lot of yards, that's taken a couple teams to the playoffs, that is coming off of, he started his career with the Lions after an 0-16 season. So a lot of people are saying it's not really his fault. When you fire the general manager and the team president, you can kind of say, well, you didn't really do a whole lot to put a lot around him. So I think a lot of people, I think the organization is not blaming Stafford. I think they really think this guy is going to be here for the next 10 years.
He shouldn't feel disrespected by the comments. He knows what he is.
I would be.
He knows what he is, though. And until he can actually have something to show for it, he can't really. He shouldn't be out there, saying, "Oh no, I'm not this. I'm not like that." No, what hurts him is when his wife gets on the air and starts talking about all the haters, and that I can't believe he hasn't told her to stop going on social media.
I think she has more passion than that guy does. I mean, he just sits there and just after every loss has just the same demeanor. And his wife is just online, just firing at people. I'm like, damn, dude, give some of that testosterone to Jonathan Matthew Stafford. I mean, goodness gracious. I think Matt Stafford's an all-around way better player than Jay Cutler.
And he is 5 years younger.
And has Jay Cutler always been a douchebag like that? Or is that FU money? I can't tell.
It's FU money.
It is?
I mean, that's what he got that from. It's kind of like what we thought Justin Verlander got.
Yeah, he's completely just secluded from the rest of the team. He's all by himself, and you can just see it in his demeanor. The guy's a piece of shit.
I mean, can you really blame him, though? He got the money. The Bears stupidly gave him the contract. He's got a hot wife.
Oh, she is magnificent.
And I think what I will say is I like his wife better than Stafford's.
Really?
I do.
Kristen Cavallari is nice.
Would you have a threesome with both of them?
No, that's the Devil's three-way. Yeah. I never go Devils.
I'd be right there. I got to be honest.
You consider it?
You'd slap Cutler on the beat.
No, not with Jay Cutler, with both wives.
Oh, well, yes.
Did you have to ask that?
Dude, I'd be so rock. It would almost get to 5 inches. I'm telling you. I mean, that's how excited I'd be. Like, it's at 4 when it's rock. When it gets to 5, I mean, there's Cutler and Stafford involved.
You're going to give the rock to them?
Yes, absolutely. God.
Oh, let's switch it up. Let's talk.
Let's just talk about pornography for an hour. We'll just switch it up.
I mean, how much can you actually talk about
Can
pornography?
you imagine the Motor City porno rant? That would be hilarious. Yeah, I seen the scene on
creepiest. That'd be the creepiest podcast ever.
breaking down pornography. That would be hilarious. Lexington Steele was on Brazzers for 2 years. I remember one of his scenes called Blow Me Out 5. It was tremendous. Okay. So, the Detroit Pistons
Detroit
are
Pistons
currently the 8th seed in the East, are they?
They are. I
What
think
do they
they're
got,
2 games
left?
over 500. Yeah, they have. I want to say they have 2 games that they're currently playing right now. They're probably going to finish just above 500, if not at 500. I'm not satisfied by that.
No, and they've went 4-6 in the last 10 games. There is no leadership from Reggie Jackson whatsoever. Andre Drummond, they were playing the Pacers the other night. They were down by 5, had the ball. He went up for a layup. They intentionally fouled him and sent his ass to the free throw line because they know he can't make free throws. And what did he do? He bricked both of them. And then they went up and they ran up and got a layup. And they're up by 7 with 2 minutes left. The game was over. They were down by 20 and they came back.
I know, Vinny, your complaints are
And then he got
super
benched by
valid.
Aaron Baines again.
They're super valid.
Beat.
But don't you give him any credit for the game versus the Knicks when he's launching threes left and right?
Who?
Reggie Jackson. He had a couple good games in those wins versus the Knicks.
I'm not talking Reggie Jackson, not at all. In fact,
You
I
said
think
he's not. He hasn't shown leadership at all.
He has no
a couple good games.
leadership.
He had a couple good games late in the fourth quarter.
Right. Well, we'll see. He's in the All-Star game. What the hell do I know? Would Brandon Jennings be in the All-Star game right now if we never would have picked up Reggie Jackson and he was our starting point guard? I don't think so. So with that said, yeah, Reggie Jackson is fine. I don't. Someone has. It doesn't even necessarily have to be him to be the leader. I
Do
just
you
want
think
someone
Reggie
to step
Jackson?
up.
Do you think he played well enough that he should have been an All-Star this year?
You asked me that question and I had to look it up because I wasn't sure, to be honest with you. And after looking it up, he is 3rd in the East in player efficiency, being at the point guard position, behind Lowry and Isaiah Thomas.
And
So I have no problem.
Did you happen to have anybody who was behind that?
What's that?
Who was behind it, like right behind him in efficiency?
Yeah, there was, but I didn't look it up.
I mean, I
just stopped
kind
there.
of think that he played well enough, and he meant what he meant to his team. I think he kind of deserved to get the All-Star nod this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think aside from Pau Gasol, I think he would have been the second in line who kind of got snubbed.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, Pistons are down 56-45
Ooh, to who?
in the third quarter
Who?
to Toronto.
Oh,
yeah.
What's the score?
We knew that coming in.
56-45. It was actually they led in the first, but then they had their period where they shut down. in the
Toronto's
second.
playing some unbelievable basketball. I
Dude.
watched them. Ooh, they're playing great.
I know they are. Damn it, man. The Pistons they might finish below 500. I mean,
Well,
the
I
way
think-
they've been playing is unacceptable.
Oh yeah, and going into the All-Star break, I don't think because they only have 2 games left, they would finish right at 500. But they have a stretch coming up. So after the break, they have Washington, New Orleans, Cleveland, Philly, Milwaukee, and then Toronto again to finish out February.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they need to do to stay in contention? Because what I would say is that they need to win the games that they're supposed to win. Like you go into Washington, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Milwaukee.
You got to win those.
Those are
yes.
games that you can't afford to lose. Because you look at some of the games that they've just played. They lost to Denver, New Orleans, Chicago. Those are teams that you gotta beat.
Mm-hmm.
So and you gotta get a timely win against one of those good teams. I'd like to see them put up a good show against Cleveland or Toronto. They still got to play San Antonio once. I don't know. I have
Yeah.
a bad feeling about it.
I do too.
We talked about it last week that I kind of feel like they're falling off.
They are big time. Thank God they have like 10 days off during the All-Star break. Or they need it. They look terrible.
And
Without
how much
KCP,
how
they
much
look
better?
brutal.
Yeah, he's out until after the
know.
All-Star break.
Stanley Johnson's not getting the job done. I'm sorry, and you have got to stop giving up over 110 points a game. It's so disgusting. I can't even watch it.
Yeah, 110. Oh, yeah.
They're clearly just an offensive team, and that's what you're going to get from Stan Van Gundy.
Yeah,
I
I mean
mean-
that's what he was. That's what he was in Orlando.
If they don't make it to the playoffs this year with Stan Van Gundy in his second year with him starting off like this, I mean, you got to start thinking about moving on from Stan Van
No.
Gundy. I don't know, man.
No, because he's still building. And I think
Yeah.
him and Tom Gores, they both expect more from their team. It's still such a young team. I think if they do miss the playoffs, I think they go into free agency and they look at trying to build a piece. They probably unless they start doing better here going up into the trade deadline, they're probably not going to make a move. And we were talking about that Ryan Anderson, trying to pick him up. They probably just wait until free agency to try and get him.
Right.
Because if he really wants to be a Detroit Piston, if we traded for him and he didn't want to come here, that's basically just wasted assets if you trade for him.
I agree. Well, we'll see.
Andre Drummond, he's going to be in the dunk contest during the All-Star game. Does that do anything for you?
Not necessarily. I didn't even know that until you sent me that in a text message. I don't care. Get your free throws together, dude. I mean, you got 10 days to figure it out.
Do you think he actually has a chance to win?
No, he's too gumpy.
I mean, when they said Drummond in the dunk contest, it just didn't make sense.
He's a Piston, so I'll watch it just because of that. But if he was like on the Sacramento Kings or something, and he was, I wouldn't even entertain the thought of watching it. I wouldn't even care. I didn't even know Andre Drummond was really all that good at dunking the ball.
I mean, you throw it up to him and he can dunk the ball.
Yeah, I know.
What's he going to do?
I mean, know.
So
he's going to launch the ball up to him and he's going to dunk it?
Yeah, he's going to jump over a bunch of people. He's going to jump over his ex-girlfriend.
He's going to jump over his sleeve that he uses because he doesn't know how to shoot free throws.
Or maybe that's what he'll do for his dunk contest. He'll shoot a free throw.
Or he'll give me a gun so I can shoot my ex-girlfriend in the face.
No, that's not a nice claim.
Oh, shit.
But anyways, we'll take another break, and when we come back, what do we have left?
We got pros and cons and length or Motor City Sports Rant, Detroit Sports Podcast.com.
You've been listening to the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. We thank you for the wonderful support these last couple years. All you got to do to support us, to help keep these mics hot, help keep the lights on in the office, is visit our website, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. It's where you can go download all the great podcasts on the network. It's where you can go to our YouTube page. It's where you can also go to save money on great things like sports gear, tickets. All you got to do, visit our website, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. If you're a big fan of Amazon, like Jason and Vinny, love to shop online, all you got to do is click through the Amazon banner on our website, and anytime you make an online purchase, you don't get charged any more money. They just kick us back a little something by using that Amazon link and Amazon banner at DetroitSportsPodcast.com. Thanks, everyone, for your support. Keep downloading and subscribing to all the great podcasts. Lots of great guests, lots of people coming into our office each and every week, and that's thanks to your support. DetroitSportsPodcast.com. Now back to Jarvi and Stubbs, Motor City Sports Rant, Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Yes. Listen, Stan Van Gundy, you've got to get it together so we can hear this again in the finals. I don't care what you got to do. You have to get naked in the locker room and slap them boys around. You're going to have to do that. Motor City Sports Rant, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. My God, you guys talk about sports like it's science. Okay, Jason the King, Jarvi. I know. You ready for this?
I am ready. Can you turn that back up, John?
Pot it back up, Jonathan. You're doing just a phenomenal job on your phone today.
Yes, thank you.
How was that sub? Yes, pros and cons. Question number one. Shoot. My pro... Peyton Manning.
That's a good one.
Damn it. Gotta do it. Cost me $115. And I wasn't sold. You didn't necessarily deserve it. The defense did its job, but you said Budweiser. You're my pro. Good for you, Peyton.
My pro this week is Michigan State basketball. They put a hurting on Michigan. The only meeting that they had this in the regular season.
Of course, here when we whoop them like that. One appearance.
They go into Chrysler, and they had like a 30-point lead at one time, and they were led by Denzel Valentine. He had a pretty good game. Costello had that great dunk, and they talked about how he pretty much knew the play, and he wasn't even worrying about how the play was going to go down. He was only worrying about the dunk. It was good to see the play from Bryn Forbes, though. 29 points. That's what you want to see going into this late in the season. So Michigan State basketball putting the hammer down on Michigan. That's my pro this week.
Absolutely. They destroyed him. My con. Contavious Caldwell Pope.
MIA.
How do you slip on water in a court and tear your quad? Come on, KCP, get it together. Stanley Johnson, I'm rooting for the guy, but he's not no KCP. Get it together, dude.
And my con would be Cam Newton. It's obvious.
That son of a bitch.
He's a crybaby. He's a douche. I'm glad that he got sacked and he didn't jump on that fumble.
No, he didn't.
So,
and neither would have Stafford.
Well, regardless, though, he is my con for the week.
All right, Jason the King Jarvi.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
Abrupt stop.
Abrupt.
Just
cut that bad boy off.
Yep.
You
weren't on the board.
You need a little fader.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the other time for?
Yeah, I wish I had just one of them, but
is this segment? Is it their second best segment, or
that's a good question.
Is it our first best?
This has got to be number one.
It's number one.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you call this bad boy?
Lane or Girth.
A staple.
A staple, no matter what happens. It'll always
Have we
be
been
a
doing
staple.
this
pretty much since the first couple episodes? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was initially going to be the name of the show. No fun here. Question number one. Jason the King Jarvi. Reggie Jackson being an all-star. Length of Girth.
So I mean, him making like the All-Star game next year.
Yeah.
I'll say Girth.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does. I mean, it's basically hoping, but he makes the progression the next year. I think this is his first season as a full-time starter, and next year he takes another step. And I don't think he's gonna get starter, but I think he gets voted onto the team.
I agree with you 100%. I think, his first year being a point guard is not an easy thing to do. He's learning the position, and I think he'll get a lot better. He'll be an all-star next year.
I agree. Length. I think this is what you got. And Stan Van Gundy, you did one thing right. You got an all-star point guard. He might not be a leader, but he is an all-star. Question number two. Peyton Manning's such a classy guy. He didn't even announce it after he won the Super Bowl. He wouldn't do it. Marshawn Lynch did. He didn't even play. But Peyton Manning didn't. And he drank Budweiser, but that has nothing to do with question number two. Peyton Manning on his retirement announcement. Length or Girth?
Like when we're gonna actually hear it?
Yeah.
I kind of think this is gonna be length. I wouldn't be surprised if we wait until after like the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that'd be a really lengthy time.
Like June. I wouldn't be surprised if by June. I think he does retire, but I think he's a guy he loves to play, and I think he needs to really come to terms that he can't do it anymore.
I think he knows. Especially if he told Bill Belichick that he's done. I think he'll announce it within the next week.
I hope so.
Me too, so I'm going to go Girth. Question number three, Cam Newton making it back to the Super Bowl. Length or Girth?
I definitely think the team has the talent. I think there are too many better teams in the league. Not
too many.
Just the Packers, Seahawks. I think those two guys are teams that will definitely compete next year. And that's not, I think the Vikings, they were kind of up and coming, unless Adrian Peterson has finally hit a wall. I don't think you can count out the Giants and Eli Manning as long as he's still there.
Right.
So I'm going to say it's probably going to be length. It's going to be a couple years.
Yeah, it definitely isn't going to be this year because the teams that usually lose the Super Bowl, the next year they come out and they're just dull and flat. They go 500. Cam Newton's got the talent, but damn it, you choked, man, and you cost me $115, and it wasn't about you. It was about me yesterday, Cam Newton.
Do you think it's a different game if he has... Because Corey Brown, he went out in midway through the game, and if he actually had Kelvin Benjamin, I think it would have been a different game.
Yes.
Absolutely not. No.
I don't know. You're probably right, John.
Defense wins titles.
I'm wrong. No, he wouldn't.
So wait, the biggest question of the week. Did you learn anything?
It's on the screen right now.
Did you learn anything listening to this podcast? Did you learn something?
What?
Defense wins titles. And don't bet with the doc. I'm always going to win.
Did you see how Carolina beat the living hell out of everybody they played in the playoffs?
It doesn't matter to me.
I mean, if you stuck a gun to my balls and nail you again, I would take Carolina.
Yeah, I would take Carolina again too. I'm not gonna lie.
What? Come on, they're better. Cam Newton didn't do anything. It was all Cam Newton's fault. Everything.
I'm gonna look up what their schedule or what they were doing. So they won 49-15. They won 31-24, and then
that was 31-0.
They won 38-10 over the Buccaneers. They lost to the Falcons. They won 38-35 over the Giants. 38-0 over the Falcons. 41-38 over the Saints. They were just scoring left and right.
Yes, they were blowing and scoring.
And I think, that was what everybody was thinking, is that, yeah, Denver had a really good defense, but so did a lot of teams that they played. And Carolina was just that good, but they proved us wrong.
Yes, they did. How was that sub, John?
It was
Shut the hell up. Lenny or Girth.
Rough stop. Thanks
Rough
for that
stop.
favor.
Why you guys keep doing that?
It's Jason.
Because
he just
he's
abrupt
not
stop.
doing anything.
Abrupt stop.
He's over there. He's looking on his phone.
He's like, God, I can't wait to listen to Jerry Mallory. All right, I had fun. It's 9:15. I don't know what the hell's going on.
What are you doing this evening?
I'm going to the Winter Garden Tavern. I'm going to go play, what the hell's it called? Shuffleboard. Stop that! Who's that?
That was Arnold.
Damn it, you Arnold.
Is it true you started a band?
Oh, yeah, Vinny and the Foreskins. My brother's fiance, all of her siblings, they weren't, what the hell is it called? Circumcised at birth. So they all have skin hanging over the head of their Johnsons. So we're drunk, and he's got a piano in his apartment last night, and he started playing music. I'm like, oh my God, let's start a band called Vinny, Stubbs, and the Foreskins. And we'll just call it the Skins after a while, after people get a hold of it. Get some skinettes in there, and we'll jam away. It's a farce, but it can come to fruition with enough practice and what the hell? What word am I looking for?
Maybe just make it Skins. Vinny and the Skins.
Yeah, but Vinny and the Skins, I get. But we gotta get this to come to fruition. I don't know how much. We don't have much time.
I don't feel like a label would take that on.
Right.
No, they might.
They might.
You never know.
What instruments would you play?
It's just the piano.
Would it just be the skin flute?
Maybe we'll get the skin flute's one of them, and then we'll get some tangerines eventually. And maybe get some drums in there.
How do you play a tangerine?
Tamarines, man.
I want to hear I want to hear a session
Jason,
recording.
Shut up. I'm getting an interview Friday for the promotion coordinator at the Ticket on Friday. So congratulations to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Look at
I already
you.
told you. Shut the hell up. I forgot to tell Jason about it.
Well, congrats, and I wish you the best.
Dude, if I get this job, that opens the door for this podcast in so many ways. So I'll be on the AM and I'll be on the 97.1 doing what's it called again? Promotions. So glory to me. I don't even listen. They just called me when I was driving, and they left me a voicemail. And this lady said it's from the Ticket. I'm like, oh, dude! I hit ignore on her. I thought I was a debt collector. But hey, I got an interview Friday. We'll see where it goes.
Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Good job, brother.
And good luck.
Thank you, man. Oh my
You
goodness.
have to let us know on Monday.
Yes, I will. I'll text you Friday and let you know. To let you guys know. I'm harder than a rock.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what to go in there. I don't know how I'm going to sell myself. Like, listen, you want someone that's going to do a bad job? I'm your guy.
It's probably not the best way to do it.
I'm going to try not to say that, but I tell the truth too damn much. That'll do it for episode, 69?
49, I think. This is 49
Almost
strong.
at 50.
50.
You got to do something special for 50.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it.
Like it fumbled 2 balls and throw an interception in the red zone.
Maybe we could have extra length or girth.
Yeah, ooh. There we
Extra
go.
length or thicker girth.
I love both so much, and I just wish I had one of them. That'll do it. Until next week. Motor City Sports Rant, DetroitSportsPodcast.com.
Okay, nice idiot. You. Bye-bye.
Shut up! Oh, wait. Don't go. Hold on now. If I said no the first time, what makes you think I'm going to say yes the second time?
Good day, sir. I said good day.
I am a wiener. All right.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Loser.
All right. Goodbye. Bingo. Holy moly. Pizza.